Hey, jerks, welcome. We're live. Mike Crawford, early show today. Doing two shows today. We're going to do two shows tonight on the Young Jerks. One at 6 p.m., one right now. We're a couple minutes late for. Got a great guest in the green room. I got a full house of dogs in the studio today. You may see some dogs. You may see me turning around and making sure they're not getting into trouble. Charlie's got a friend here. Wicked excited. Yeah, I am so busy, but I'm so excited. So much going on this week in the Karen Reed defense and Turtle Boy defense. We're going to be raising money tonight. That's the first thing. On the bottom on the scroll, you'll see my email address. If you're donating to the Karen Reed Defense Fund today, if you put it when you make your donation in the message, just write Young Jerks Fundraiser. Take a screen capture of it, and you can get one of these. Let me put it right up there. One of these stickers, the little stickers. It's the 3Ms or this one. You tell me which one you want. First come, first serve, or you maybe want one of the other Young Jerks. I'm going to say $5 a sticker. So if you send $5, you tell us which one you want. You send 10, you can get them both. And again, first come, first serve basis. This is going to be until tomorrow. I'm going to do this until Sunday at noon tomorrow. So you have 24 hours. But again, I don't have unlimited. This is a very limited run. So I should have counted how many I have, but first come, first serve basis. So if you're interested, it's on the screen, $5 or more to the Karen Reed Defense Fund today. For the 3M sticker, email, screen capture it, donation to mjcboston1 at yahoo.com, or hit us up on Twitter or Facebook at the Young Jerks. Okay, we get that out of the way. We're doing a fundraiser. I'd love to see your donations go in today. Let's bring up the guests. We've got a great guest list this week. I can't believe all the amazing shows we're going to have here. This is the first one. This is probably going to be the biggest week for us. You just watch with the guest list that we have. And here's the first interview to give you an idea. Last week was amazing. I want to thank Turtle Boy. I want to thank the highway patrolman from North Carolina who came on. We're going to do a follow-up with him and one of his friends soon, too. There's so much going on. We're going to have Carl Steinbeck come back on Wednesday night, attorney. We got the state senator Michael Moore here tomorrow with LTL and retired state trooper Todd McGee. We have a show tonight at 6 p.m. with Abby. I think I got it all out. There's more coming too, believe me. Let's bring up the guests to kick off this amazing week of guests that we're going to have on the Young Jerks this week. Welcome back to the show, attorney Nan Gallagher. She's the most high-profile guest on every channel now. She's doing 3 shows today. She's amazing. She's taking a lot of heat from the trolls, just like we predicted. If you're getting the heat from the trolls, you know you are effective, and this lady is. She is amazing. She's an attorney, criminal defense. She also does civil defense. She does administrative. She covers everything in healthcare. She's a specialist, just like Robert Alessi. He does the same thing in like defense and all these other fields. She specializes in healthcare. She's been all over this Karen Reed, and I'm excited to have her back with all the news happening. Welcome back, attorney Nan Gallagher.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Mike. You are way too kind and far oversold me to your audience, but I have gotten around a little bit since I first appeared on your show a few weeks ago. So want to thank everyone for having me.
I felt like it's appropriate to do that for 2 reasons. Number one is you deserve it. You've been crushing it like on this show and everybody else's shows. And you're getting the heat from the trolls. They're attacking your credibility. And I see this all the time. And it's because you're effective. I mean, I know when our show is on fire, the trolls are coming after me the next morning. And it makes me so happy when it happens. When it doesn't, I'm like, where are the trolls? Like, wasn't our show that good last night? So, it has to be said.
Oh, yeah, I get it. And you predicted it when I was first on. You said it takes about a month or so for them to find you. It took a little less than that, but
Less of that.
I've
Yeah.
made my bed. I have to lie in it. And Twitter is a cesspool, but I'm not going anywhere because there's definitely attention. I don't care that I get attention. I care that the issues and the travesty and this case get attention. So someone, and more than one person has said to me, including what you just said, if they're attacking you, it means they're kind of listening or they're threatened in some way. And I hope that's true, not from a personal standpoint, but just from a credibility standpoint. They can insult my appearance. They can tell me I'm elderly. I dare say I am the same age as Officer John O'Keefe was. So apparently we're all talking about the untimely death of an elderly man. And I think I'm about a year, excuse me, I think I'm about a year older than he was. But nonetheless, I'm elderly. I'm Tori Spelling. I don't practice criminal law, which I do. It's on my website. If they have to challenge anybody, whether it's you, Mike, or anybody else, based on things not having to do with the facts, that tells you all you need to know.
Funny, they say Tori Spelling. We say Jenny Garth. I love Jenny Garth. 90210 Beverly Hills. And that just shows the bullshit of it, is because like we're actually Gen X. I mean, we're
Yeah.
not that old. We're not that old. We're like borderline. I call myself an old man, but any Gen X ladies, they're not old. That's
And,
like ridiculous.
and
That is
it is funny though, because I have consistently heard since the 1990s that I bear a resemblance to Jenny Garth. Like that's something I've heard, that, or Laura Palmer from Twin Peaks. I find it funny. This morning I'm apparently Tori Spelling, but nonetheless, no one can come into my mind and attack my mind and my legal experience. And it's such a pleasure to see other lawyers, in addition to those who already have, speaking out about this. I've been laughing at some of the posts from Happily Angry ESQ. He's amazing.
he's awesome. Yeah.
If people don't follow him, they should, because he kind of mirrors my sense of humor as well. But I have to take it with a grain of salt, and I always try to tell everybody when I can that I very much appreciate those who put their necks on the line to try to protect me. So I just want to give everyone a big heartfelt thank you. And to you, Mike, who you've just always been so good to me. And I love our relationship. So if you ever need anything, let me know. And if I can help in any way with this fundraiser, please let me know.
Yeah, hopefully people are donating today. Again, we're doing this fundraiser. There's no other way to get these stickers. The only way you can get these stickers is if you donate today. And these were designed and created by our moderators. This is like special thing. They designed and printed those up. And the only way you can get those is if you donate to the Karen Reed Defense Fund. They're not for sale. So I hope people do that. mjcboston1@yahoo.com is scrolling on the bottom of the screen. If you send your screen capture of your donation to Karen Reed Defense Fund today. I thank you for being here. It's funny you mentioned lawyers. We kind of talked about this too, that we hoped more attorneys would speak out. We're seeing that much more, like in the last couple of weeks. Like a lot of serious attorneys, criminal defense attorneys, have been noticing and commenting on this. So that's good. You mentioned the Tori Spelling thing. They called me David Spade, which
I
is
know.
oh no, is it David? No, Dana Carvey.
Oh, Dana Carvey.
Which I was like, oh, that's like number one. Like he's so good at impressions. I wish I was as good as Dana Carvey is. But I mean, I used to get called like Goose from Top Gun. Like that was
I love that too.
he's all right, but I kind of like Dana Carvey better. It's like that's Saturday Night Live. Like, wow.
But Mike, and I don't want to disparage anyone on the other side of this movement, but there's definitely a reason why they're watching programs like yours and others. Like they're watching not because they want to find similarities between you or me or anyone else and celebrities, or to be satiric about it. I think they really are listening just to try to gain information, because what's being, from my observation, spread on the other side of this movement is misinformation. And to mirror what you were saying about other lawyers stepping in and speaking up, two things. One, you don't even need to be a criminal defense attorney to have a say in like court legal processes. And that's, I think, why a lot of lawyers are now really becoming more outspoken because, and you're seeing the ratcheting up, like you're going to have a real big week. A lot of people are going to be watching because there's so much, and there's no other word other than shenanigans going on. So now people are saying, what is going on here? We really need to step in. And it's just something that I was happy to do it 3 weeks ago. I didn't think I was going to be appearing on so many streams, but I really enjoy it because I get to have real granular conversations with all of you about issues that are important to you and your viewers, because you don't all actually have a mirror image of viewers. And it's been really fun having different takes and taking on different roles. I have to say, though, I really did enjoy, especially being on Auntie Deb the
I
other
was
night.
just gonna ask you that because I was gonna say, like, was Auntie Deb crazy? Because he's called in a couple times on my show, but like he asked me to go on his show like a week or two ago, and I owe him. Like, I can't wait to go on his show. Like, what was that like? What, like, tell me, prepare
So,
me.
oh, I apologize. Whenever I knock my wires, I glitch. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, guys. I'm going to fix that. But Auntie Deb, it was really fun. All of the shows are fun, but with Auntie Deb, um, he asked me like personal questions. He, not in a manner to dox me, but he asked me a bunch of personal questions about like my experiences and my preferences, my favorites, my likes, my dislikes. And I just found it very amusing. And I think that also is helpful to ask questions like that about, what kind of foods I eat and tell me about these life experiences, because it really does, in my opinion, help people get to know me a little bit. Like, I don't need the attention, but I think people might want to understand, well, why is this woman making a point of getting on a bunch of different shows to talk about this case? Or why does she curse like a sailor? Or why is she as snarky as she is? So it is very fun. I would highly encourage you to do it.
I can't wait. And Auntie Deb, like, it's funny how he picks up on things immediately. Like, I noticed that with myself. I'm like, this guy nailed me. He like met me 5 minutes and he already knows who I am. And then I
Yeah,
spill my beans. He asked me I tell him everything.
yeah, it's a little scary. And he wrote a funny song about me, which I also liked, about being an inverted grifter, which is apparently the funniest thing. I mean, it is the funniest thing to me. Someone is going to have to school me on how giving time to help educate on legal issues or making donations to the fund or to creators is grifting. And when I don't donate, I try to even just chat match if I can, which I can't do today. Mama has to make sure she
You don't owe me
doesn't go
anything.
bankrupt.
Like, let's put it this way. People love the new studio look. I got new lights. I got new. Like,
It's
well,
beautiful.
I had my camera for a while, never set it up. I finally set that up, but I got the new laptop. It's like, you hooked me up. I'm grifting off of Nan.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
should. Mike's the grifter. He's grifting off of me. I'm so happy for you because Mike, I don't know if I think you did, but I don't know if you heard me the other day. I was on Seeking Justice, and I was describing a lot of the content creators and how you all mean something different to me. And I described you, and I meant this, and I said it at the time as a compliment, as having an old school radio feel to your shows. And that is very reminiscent of my experiences growing up with my father. And it's how I digest information. And you have a beautiful voice, just a wonderful approach to question asking and listening to your guests. It is something that I very much like take into my heart and gravitate towards. So
oh,
if you ever ask me to be on your show, I will go out of my way to do that, because it actually warms my heart and brings back a lot of great memories. And I dare say your audience loves that vibe about you too.
funny you mentioned that because my girlfriend, my partner, she has started in radio. She did radio for a long time. That's how we met. And I love like WBZ. I don't know. You probably don't know WBZ, but they're
No.
famous for having those talk shows at night where they just let people go, and I love it. I do. I like those types of shows.
I can relate to that. And I think it's a very simple way to get people to listen. Like we want the most important reason I'm here, and I am doing 3 today. That's a lot. I'm not loving that, but I have a business trip coming up this week. I did really just love listening and getting people to listen to the messaging here, because even if the other side of the movement and they feel that, Karen did it and they've seen enough, they should be saying to themselves, wait, if I were on trial, would I want to be convicted and face charges and then convicted on this type of evidence that's really questionable or not sourceable and has no chain of custody, and suddenly something didn't exist, but now it does exist, or we didn't know about it, but now we know about it now and we're producing it. And now there's finger pointing between the prosecution and some Commonwealth witnesses or law enforcement. And I have to believe, because it is so important to me to remember this every day, that this isn't actually about Karen Reed, and it's not about John O'Keefe. Of course, it is about them partially, but what's also it's about is making sure, to someone like me, that we follow proper, what's called procedural and substantive due process. And if anyone thinks on the other side, and I dare say you can come for me, if any of you think that there is enough here and the correct steps were followed to prosecute this woman for the death of John O'Keefe, I really do worry. I worry that you think that's enough. I'm not going to put you down. I'm not going to say you're uneducated. I'm simply going to say we deserve more in our country, and citizens of Massachusetts and Norfolk County deserve more in those prosecutions as well. So I'm really going to try not to stop ever talking about this stuff, because we should all want more in our criminal justice system.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about this motion to dismiss for Karen Reed? Came out this week. I'm sure you've seen it, read it. Have you looked at that? You have her.
I
What
have read it. And I always tell people, like, I haven't changed. So I absorb my content, substantive content, from streamers or news sources. And I thank people like Melanie Little, for example, who will go, and even the Glairer did, like, line by line by line, and read this stuff. And even if sometimes I'll even pause their stream and I will read what I see on the written paper. So I did go through the motion to dismiss, and I went through the opposition. And I have to say, there are strong and very, very serious, extraordinary prosecutorial misconduct allegations raised, Brady concerns raised. I might have said this maybe on my initial stream with you, Mike, but like a motion to dismiss like this, it didn't just get drafted once Alan Jackson asked, well, okay, I need a couple more days. And the judge was like, I'll give you till this day. That motion has been in the works since really probably the day after her mistrial. So and some people, and I love these types of questions, some people have actually asked me, how is a motion like this prepared? And is it dictated? Is it just worked on by an attorney on a computer? Does he have a secretary? Like, I love these very specific questions from people who want to know how the process is. But I can tell you the issues that are laid out in the motion to dismiss, which I'm sure your audience probably has, like, fully heard it from a lot of different streams. And I'm happy to get specific or to be as high level as possible. These allegations raise the most serious concerns to someone like me, because I know I've had cases, and yes, I have criminal defense experience. I've had cases where charges were dismissed for much less of an infraction. So then you see the opposition, and the opposition literally felt like an inversion of the argument that was made. It's gaslighting. It's, somehow Ms. Reed's fault that certain things weren't produced, or she had these things, or she should have known that her attorneys could have cross-examined witnesses on some of these key issues during the trial 1.0. There's new evidence that has been produced that has allegedly existed since like August, that was produced August of last year after the trial, that was produced by Brennan in October of 2024, once the issue of like metadata was becoming a real central character in this story. And I dare say it's probably currently the most central character to this story. And then also, when you have someone like Brennan making prior statements, which frankly seemed to be unsupported and not in the form of an affidavit to the court about, well, these files were kept in these folders, and then it's in an iCloud of a retired detective, and then it's suddenly there's new videos that have been produced, why these weren't erased or auto erased on the every 30-day kind of time period that he also told the court, but new videos have come out. Like, you need a roadmap to try to keep tabs on all of this stuff. And most judges will look at the fumbling, the variations in stories of the progression of evidence in this case, and they'll say, Mr. Brennan, I want an affidavit from you, or I want you to sit down and tell me exactly what happened with all of this evidence and when. He makes these assertions that are so unsupported, contradict one another. And what he also does is try to spin it under this web of, I'm doing everything I can do. I'm the Commonwealth. If I have something, I produce it. Please like me because I'm being the most transparent attorney under the sun. But the net result of reviewing the motion to dismiss and the opposition to it, to me, is that there must, not should, there must be an evidentiary hearing. The judge has to call like a timeout and have a hearing where some key people involved in the production of new evidence, or the failure to produce evidence, or the failure to provide metadata, or the quality of imagery on one of these Sallyport cameras has to start answering some hard questions. That has to happen. And if that does happen, it actually, in my opinion, should involve people like Adam Lally, who's going to have questions to answer as well, because Hank cannot pick and choose when he wants to align himself with the Commonwealth or then cast them aside and say it's someone else's fault. So that is a very long answer for your question, but I put it out that way so your audience kind of has an understanding of the gravity of what's been alleged here. And, happy to answer more specific questions if anyone has them.
I have a couple. I have one from the audience.
Yeah.
This one says, "Love you, Mike. I missed the curtains." It's funny. Some people miss the old curtains. Some people like the new look. What I want to know in the comments, what do you like better? Do you like the new look, or do you like the old curtains better? Here's the question though: Can Bev, Lally, Brennan, and McLaughlin be brought up on charges? This is from Bev's BS.
So Bev, Lally, Brennan, and McLaughlin. So just so we can all compartmentalize this answer, Judge Beverly Cannoni is a judge, and then the other three are attorneys. So the answer is a little bit different. Judge Cannoni, if it is shown, I'm not saying it is shown. If it is shown that she has exhibited a provable level of bias or committed some level of judicial misconduct, there are remedies up in Massachusetts and every state that can be taken to pursue those allegations against her. I will not set forth a roadmap on how to do that against a judge, because that kind of goes against the grain of my professionalism as an officer of the court, not that court yet. But so she has to comport herself ethically without bias. The fact that there was a prior request to recuse her, I think she should have recused herself at the time. She didn't. The other three, Brennan, Lally, and McLaughlin, yeah, they could be brought up on ethics charges. It really will. The devil is in the details, I guess, is how I would answer that. Who knew what and when? Right now, it looks like Brennan is starting to currently pivot towards the when I know about something, anoint myself the most ethical attorney in the world and I hand it over. So he's teetering towards throwing the other side under the bus, meaning Lally and McLaughlin. Lally and McLaughlin, who kind of have had similar but differing roles throughout this process, they have major issues facing them because they are required and were required from minute one to preserve all evidence. And it is never, ever enough for a prosecutor, whether it's the Lally McLaughlin regime or Brennan, to ever say, well, we produce what we have when we have it or when it's given to us. It's actually a very, very important responsibility as a prosecutor, because you must go and, as we say, shake the trees. You got to shake the trees to see, do I have everything? And ask again and ask again. And if you don't do that, then you're putting yourself personally in a bit of a lurch because of moments like this. I will be very disappointed, if Judge Cannoni does not convene an evidentiary hearing. Now, that may not be convened this week, but I would be disappointed if she does not request or command that one be scheduled. I will be very disappointed. I think the motion ultimately will likely be denied just because of how her rulings trend. But there is a right to an appeal of that decision, unfortunately, only if Karen was convicted. So, it's frustrating, but there's going to be accountability someday for all people involved in hiding the truth here, whether they were conspirators, bad actors, or anyone in law enforcement or the prosecutorial process, and I'm here for it.
So I have something from an attorney I want to share
Oh, nice.
That has a different view on this, which I thought was interesting.
Oh,
On the
man.
screen. I'll read it too. So Matt, I don't even know how to say his last name. Timpanic?
Tympanic or something like that. I
Yeah.
heard about him.
I just laugh a lot at what he posts, but this is what he posted about the motion to dismiss. He said, "This reeks of desperation. I have to think the defense team is trying to change the narrative. The defense team misrepresented their relationship with the ARCA team to the court, but wants to somehow blame it on the Commonwealth. This motion is unlikely to succeed."
Man, are you trying to piss me off today, Mike? Because no, I'm kidding. I heard about him and I saw his posts on X, and some other individuals have reached out to me in the last 24 hours saying, hey, do you want to ask him if did he watch the first trial? And I said, why don't you ask him? But anyway, I don't know anything about Mr. Tympanic. I respect anyone, not just any lawyer, who will come out and take a position on this case that's grounded in, sound reasoning. Okay. Because I find in dealing with some of the Twitter trolls, we're not dealing with sound reasoning. We're talking about the color of my hair or etc. But as far as Mr. Tympanic is concerned, this type of motion does not reek of desperation. It would be absolutely legal malpractice if her attorneys did not file a motion like this. It is not a Hail Mary. This type of motion, in the face of so many failures of the governmental entities, whether it's the police or the prosecutor's office, to hand, by police, I also mean, the state troopers, to hand over key critical pieces of evidence and have it come streaming in even after the first trial, and to just make this metadata issue, which is so central, sound like a little bit of a red herring. That is absolutely ridiculous. So it's not desperation to file it. And as far as see what he does here, and it's helpful to your audience so they can recognize it. When you have a lawyer who presumably knows something about, how legal processes work, etc. And I'm not saying he does not, but when you have a lawyer who comes out publicly and posts that this is desperate and this motion won't be granted, he's mixing two very different thoughts. I think this motion is not desperate. I think this motion is absolutely necessary, and not just to avoid being sued by for malpractice. There is substantiated basis for the motion, but I also agree it probably won't be granted. So
That's the only part that makes sense in his post, actually. Everything else I'd contest to.
Right. And I just want to say before I forget, Mike, like, please don't go at him. Don't.
No, I'm not. I just like to, logically respond to what he's posted, and just I'm not personally going after him. I don't know this guy. I know it seems like he is a successful lawyer. Actually, he does entertainment law, but I just don't understand where someone like him is supposed to be a successful lawyer. Seems like a smart guy, and then he posts this crap, and it's like, for me, like, I'm reading this motion to dismiss, knowing what I know about the jury tampering allegations that we've been hearing about for a long time, and now it's on the record and it's redacted. So none of us really actually know the details of what is in that motion to dismiss. And for him to just say, oh, this is just, they're trying to change the subject. Well, we know, like you said, they've been working on this since the
months.
last dismissal. Even before that, I think they've been working on it since those jurors got dismissed.
Oh, I
'cause
agree.
I was hearing the whispers back then. So Matt, like, I just, when I see this stuff, it's just like, how can you say that as a lawyer when none of us know all the details of what are in those allegations about the jury tampering? I mean, it just, to me, is very strange.
I agree. By the way, Mike, I actually meant, like, to your chat, like, don't everybody go after Mr.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
But
And I think, Mike, you absolutely subscribe to that philosophy, which is like, if we can have a respectful disagreement, we'll have a respectful disagreement. I know Mazza,
it's not even about the person so much either. I think it's about what the words say. Like, we don't agree with those words. It just doesn't make sense. I'm kind of,
I agree. And I do feel also, you mentioned the redacting, which is so central here. In terms of the redactions, we, including me, or any other lawyer who's looking at this, we don't know the specifics, and they must be very, very telling. We're in a position where we think we know what's been alleged, or really what happened with alleged jury tampering. And just to be very clear, I'm sure your audience knows this, but it would be wholly improper, not only for if Fanning was in any way able to control, influence, spend time with, or, as we say, touch a jury. He was a fact witness. He was involved in text chains with Proctor. He was in a chain of command. I think I said he was a witness in this case. He should have been nowhere near this jury. And then also, what I'm intimating from the papers is that there may have also been some type of, I don't even know what I want to call it, connection or knowledge base or communication with some of the jurors, or one of the jurors who was removed. Like, I don't know all the facts, so I have to reserve judgment on them. And I'm a little frustrated that the judge has chosen to order that many of these pieces be redacted, but I understand there's an order in place or some type of protective order that compels her to do so. Ultimately, the jury is the most important piece of this case right now, because there was a mistrial and the evidence that was before that jury wasn't even all of the evidence. See, that's what I think gets lost in the weeds here. Think about it. Not to say it would have changed a verdict, but the trial 1.0 jury did not have all of the evidence. And I'm not talking about evidence that was excluded by the judge. That's very common. Judges call balls and strikes on evidentiary issues. I'm saying we've got the prosecution handing over videos, and I think there's more than this, but videos in October of 2024 and now in January of 2025. How ridiculous is that? And to someone like me, and I know there's other lawyers out there who feel this way, like to someone like me, I say, oh my God, can you imagine that if I sat my client for a trial and I didn't have all of the evidence, but the other side did, and it is not sufficient for the other side to say we didn't know about it. They are actually legally understood and what's the word? Presumed. They are presumed to know about it. And Yannetti, with his application on, I think it was February 2nd, 2022, to the Stoughton court, I think it was Stoughton, the other court where she was arraigned, he at that time made a very, very smart move, although it wasn't required, to compel and require all evidence be preserved. And it wasn't. It wasn't. And that is in no way, shape, or form anyone's fault other than the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I say in my posts all the time, God save Massachusetts. I hope to get up there one day just to give all of the Free Karen Reed supporters a big hug, because you guys sure seem like you need it.
We sure do. I think, and beyond Karen Reed too. I mean,
Oh,
just
beyond. Yeah,
so
there's
many scandals.
look at Aiden, look
Yep.
at and then look at the cases, sorry to interrupt you, Mike, but look at cases like Brian Walsh, who, by the way, going on the record, I think he did it. And if my personal opinion also in the Birchmore case, I think Farwell did it. But holding my personal opinions aside based on what I believe and what I've been shown thus far, all of those defendants, whether it was Farwell, Walsh, I know there's others, but the Aiden or Karen, they're all entitled under US and state constitutions, and then derivative case law that comes out in criminal rules of procedure. They're all entitled to the same rules of the game. And when you have cases where there's manipulation of evidence, hiding of evidence, late production of evidence, failure to support or inability to support technological evidence through, the woman, I can't think of her name, who does the
Colleen
videos.
Crawford. Colleen
Video
Crawford.
Jesus, the girl you
Oh,
have on
Video
your show.
Jesus. She's coming on tonight at 6. Abby. Video
Ooh,
Jesus. Yeah.
I might be able to I'm gonna make sure I watch that live because she's fantastic. If you're listening, Abby, like you really are, I have a lot of admiration for the nitty gritty you get into. But when you think about all of that combined, the prosecution is supposed to follow the same rules for all of those defendants. And when they don't, that's when the real possibility of people who actually did it, and by it, I mean whatever that alleged crime is. But in my example, the Brian Walshes, the Farwells, who I believe did it, in my view, they're getting fodder to challenge the government in terms of all of the behaviors they've taken in other cases. So it's very disheartening to someone like me who became a lawyer to try to make sure that justice is obtained and that honor and ethics are achieved in every way a lawyer comports himself or herself. Very, very disheartening.
And in the Sally Port stuff too, there's a question from Romy. She says, how do they have Sally Port video of January 1st, 2022, showing that the camera inverted all video if the system overrides after 30 days? I think we know, and we've talked about this with Abby, they have another file. They save stuff to another drive, and it's already been reported in court, through the filings that it was a police officer. So, and then they come up with new video that they didn't disclose before. There's so much to this, and even Bev lets them continue to get away with it by not forcing the metadata. It's funny how Matt, this attorney, can say all this stuff, and we have all these issues that are so evident here.
Hi, by the way, hi Romy, and I want to make sure I screenshot that question and I ask it or you ask it on Mike's show later to Abby, because she has answered it, but I think it's so important now for her to recapitulate this point. And I have to believe, I hope that Karen's defense team, who doesn't need any help, is watching things like this, important questions like this, whether there's an evidentiary hearing coming up or for cross-examination at trial 2.0.
I know they do watch because I've talked to them before, and they especially when Betterow is on, they love freaking Betterow. But I think they watched more recently too, because Alan Jackson, when he was doing that hearing recently, he said a few things that I was like, wait, he's quoting Abby. He's quoting Abby. He was like saying her exact language. It was like, oh my God, Abby, did you hear that? We were like, I realized it with her on the show going over the video. They said, Abby, did you hear what I just heard? She did. It was just
Mike,
pretty amazing.
I gotta say something to that point, though. First of all, that's wonderful that they're watching your show. And the other point I want to make is, so do we all and I'm looking, so it looks like you've got, wow, you've got like a lot of people in your chat right now watching you. Do you all remember when Hanky Spanky, or whatever we call him, he quoted or he cited or miscited the evidence? I'm not going to call it evidence, pardon me, I'm only half caffeinated, but he kind of quoted information that Brandy Churchwell from the 13th Juror podcast had elicited from someone previously. I think it was someone with dog bite or dog training.
Wing, maybe Garrett Wing.
Maybe. I apologize, guys.
Yeah.
Brandy had actually obtained some interview with someone who had important information to share. And it's not that he was a witness or anything, but he had some important information. Brandy put it on either her social media or in her podcast, and Hank cited it without attributing it to her.
What a dirty wait. If Hank, if you're stealing from Brandy, you got to cite her. You got to cite her. I'm sorry. I'm going to stick up for Brandy on this one. Brandy rules. She kicked ass. Yeah. And if Hank Brennan is stealing from Brandy Churchwell, 13th Juror, he better friggin' cite her. He needs to do that next time.
Yeah, and that's right. Your chat is helping me. My elderly brain, my elderly Gen X brain. It was Kenneth Kinsey.
Okay.
Who offered opinions on like the accident reconstruction, I believe, in the Murdaugh trial, the Alec Murdaugh trial down in South Carolina. So Brandy had previously interviewed him or procured information from him, and it was for informational purposes only. But Brannon cited that Kinsey's opinions as like holding some level of credence in a court of law before Judge Bev. The reason I bring this up is because lawyers, including me, not all lawyers, but lawyers do watch. We do research. We do look at which way the wind sock is blowing or which way people are talking about cases. So that is yet another reason why I love the content creators, because I hope and pray, as you said, that Karen's team is watching. Because they'll get education from you and your really esteemed guests besides myself. Like they'll really get key information that will help them. And not only will it help them substantively, but like I said, you got so many people in your viewing right now, Mike. One of the most important tools to someone like me who tries cases is I want to see which way juries would trend. What are the key trends of a chat? Is it missing evidence? Is it late produced evidence? Is it the fact that no one likes Hank? Is it the fact that Lally eats cheese sandwiches in court all day? Is it pick what the main themes are, because those will be critical when juries are selected. And I have to believe a large portion of your chat is from Massachusetts. I don't know that. You may say, no, they're all from Ireland. But I think it's really important to see which way things trend, because it helps us all become better lawyers.
I would say a large number are from Massachusetts, but now it's worldwide. It's funny because when we started, it was just all Massachusetts. Mostly, especially with Karen Reed, when we really started Karen Reed, it was mostly Canton people or Norfolk County. And then I went all of Massachusetts. Then I went to Ohio and California, and then Australia and Ireland. Like you said, it's unbelievable. UK, Spain, Portugal. I mean, Mexico City calls in a lot. It's
That's
amazing, the Karen Reed stuff. But we still have our locals. I mean, our locals are, yeah.
You know what's funny though, Mike? I guess with a name like Gallagher, I should have expected to get a lot of outreach, which I have, from people from Ireland and Scotland. They're all, not all, a lot of them reach out to me and say, oh, where were your parents from, and where did they grow up, and who do you know, etc. And I think that's amusing. But Ireland.
Are you Irish? Are you?
So I'm Scottish.
Scottish, okay.
But I have been told, and I won't put my DNA in a database because I never want to be profiled in the future. But I have been told that there were Irish. I had Irish relatives who moved to Scotland. So I have to believe there's Irish as well.
We could be related. It's funny.
We could. Well, we're both.
I'm Irish. All my family is all Irish.
Crawford, yeah. Gallagher, whether it's Carvey and spelling, I feel like we probably cut from the same cloth.
I wish I had the skills of a Dana Carvey.
He's amazing.
I can only imitate people I know. Like, it's funny. Like, I would have to. You just got. It's funny. I bet he can pull anything off.
It's in some of the streams I've done, I've loosened up and started doing impersonations or impressions of people. So I think the odds have it that I'm going to keep it going. And if I ever have a chance to witness people in person, I think it'll only help me better chisel my impressions. And yes, everyone, I'm aware I bear a resemblance with my current hairstyle to Judge Bev. I'm aware.
Is that who do you do impressions of? Like, is it Judge Bev?
I can do impressions of Judge Bev. I can do Spanky. I can do Lally. Let's see a couple. I want to see a couple now. Get me on again, and get me on in the evening after.
In the evening, you gotta have maybe a cocktail or something, or edible.
Maybe a little sip of something. But I can do. You know who I do. Oh, I'm glitching myself again. You know who I do. I can do Jen McCabe with my eyes closed and my hands tied behind my back. And there's clips out there, but I promise, Mike,
did you do that on Auntie Deb's show?
I did McCabe on Nurse Kim's show.
Oh, Nurse Kim, that's fun. How did I miss that one?
Yeah.
I have. It's the problem with being a YouTuber is you miss all the shows you want to see. It's like, so many shows I'd be watching.
I have a feeling that there might be a little clip of it that's coming out on another show later today. So, but anyway.
All right. Next time we're gonna hit you up on impressions. You better be ready.
Thank you.
At a nighttime show. I get it too. Like, it's such a different feeling doing it during the day versus night.
It is. Like, there's sunshine in my office right now,
Yep. All right, we'll read a few more super chats. Abacus Flinch. So explain to me, does the Commonwealth satisfy discovery by providing a chain of custody when they claimed it never existed? Even Bev denied to compel because it didn't exist.
In the real world, Abacus, the answer to that is no. The chain of custody needs to be substantiated from the get-go. You can't go back and Monday morning quarterback it or extrapolate backwards. Courts do not allow that, and they don't allow that because it's inherently inauthentic. It's not real time. It's something that a prosecution has a real current duty to produce at the time. Think about evidence that you saw at the trial, which I think some of it was meddled with, but think about when you would see some of the law enforcement officers be presented with evidence bags and they would cut them open and pull pieces of evidence out. And again, I think there was some shenanigans going on with that, but on those evidence bags there will be clear markations of, you know, when it was collected, who initialed or signed for it, etc. That's supposed to be done ahead of time. So it is not satisfactory to do it now. I saw that Brennan is making that argument. I saw I don't know if it's an affidavit signed by all three of them, Lally, McLaughlin, and Brennan, trying to say, here you go, we're satisfying our obligation now. It's too little too late as far as I'm concerned. A prosecution can't just erase away what is now years of inappropriate and unprofessional and frankly just negligent retention and maintenance of key evidence in the case. So no, I think Bev will allow it? Maybe. Not in my jurisdictions.
Bev is different than everyone else, unfortunately.
She's something unique.
I just want to give an update on something that's making me excited, actually. Right now, pinned in the chat, I want to thank our moderators. We have the best moderation team around. Definitely, number one. Like, even when we have thousands of people here, I never have to worry. I check the chat. I try to watch it, but I don't have to hyper focus on it because my team is so good. And Sarah and Shock and Hara pinned it at the top for the Karen Reed Defense Fund. We're raising money today. We're giving away these 3M stickers, and I'm seeing donations coming in. I'm so happy. Look at this one. $10. The Young Jerks Sunday 3-2 show. The Young Jerks 3M stickers for Karen Reed Defense Fund, anonymous. Jason, thank you so much. Here's one for 100 from JCV. Oh my God, JC, you got to get all the stickers. She's from Omaha, Nebraska. And then there's $10 from Tiffany. She's for the Young Jerks and Mazza Media. I want to thank Mazza Media for sending people over here today as well. It's amazing to see people just kicking in. I'm thank you so much. And you can get, like I said, if you're new listening today, we got 3M stickers we're giving away.
Wow.
$5 per sticker. Karen Reed Defense Fund.
That's wonderful. And just a quick thank you to everybody who helped me. I was trying to make a donation the other day on behalf of Tom's CPU and Boston Mike. And for 2 days straight, no matter what web browser I was using, including on my phone, the Defense Fund just wasn't letting me do it. So people gave me alternate ways to donate. But guys, if you're watching, please donate to the Defense Fund. And these are such wonderful stickers too. But I know Karen reads them, and you know, it's the least you can do. It's the least you can do to try to help support her. And I hope no one is of the opinion that, oh, well, our lawyers are pro bono, so what does she need this money for? As an attorney, I'm sure you've heard this, Mike, also from Runkle or Carl Steinbeck or any other lawyer you've interviewed. Like the costs alone, that not fees, the costs alone for experts, travel, lodging, anything involving investigation, which, as you all heard Karen say to Ted Daniel in her most recent clip of that interview, like the investigation their team is conducting continues to this very day. It doesn't just stop. They don't close the book on that. It is extremely expensive to do that. And I can only impart on you, like, just be mindful of that. And if you can, give of your hearts, but if not, just give of your time and listen to streams like Mike's or any other content creator to get educated, and then go tell 2 or 3 people about it you encounter in your lives, because this is the type of sham prosecution that should never take place in your commonwealth, in my state, anywhere. So whether it's financial fundraising and donations, or giving of your time and knowledge and intellect after listening to people who know a little bit about it, that's such a wonderful commitment on your part, and I thank you for doing that.
And the hotel cost, just think about what a hotel
Mm.
costs in Boston or Massachusetts right now. We have a lack of housing and hotel rooms, and let me tell you, it is very, very expensive. You'd be better off staying anywhere else, but here in Massachusetts in a hotel room, it's that
Oh,
expensive. So I
God.
can't
You're not
imagine.
you're not giving me any hope for when I eventually get up to Massachusetts one of these days during the trial, but yeah. All right. Duly noted.
I could give you some suggestions, maybe.
Thank you. Don't give them publicly. The trolls be
No, yeah,
trolls be
they'll be
coming.
there. We don't talk. We don't talk about that stuff online. Uh yeah, we've got a lot of super chats. I hope I can keep up with them all. Hope people don't get mad at me. Uh
Let me say one thing, Mike,
oh,
to
go ahead.
your audience. You got to. I don't see all your super chats, but to anyone who brings in a super chat for you, if you don't get to all the questions because I'm long-winded, I promise I will at some point circle back with him, get your questions, however that happens, and I will make sure I personally find a way to shoot you an answer to it. Okay? Or literally copy and paste your question and throw it to me on like Facebook or X. I want you to get an answer.
There's a one from JC. Is it possible the damage to Karen Reed's taillight happened by hitting the fire hydrant? It would be better explanation than a crack light.
It's a great question. I have no idea. Possibly. I mean, I don't know anything about what is that material, Mike, that these tail lights are made from.
Polycarbonate,
Yeah,
also known as like safety. It's what safety goggles are made out of. Like
yeah, and we in my practice, like I do a lot of OSHA inspections as well as part of my practice for medical practices, and those glasses, those safety glasses, they're almost indestructible to me. But there is
I
a
yeah,
there
I
is a
used to wear
reason.
them at a shop, and we'd run them over with fork trucks, and you can't break them. You
Yeah, but
cannot break them.
I don't I don't know. I don't know the answer, JC, but I think it certainly makes more sense than to say her taillight struck. I believe they're going with it struck his arm, and then he did a pirouette. But as I always say to everybody, the prosecution has to not only tell you, they can't just tell you, oh, she hit John and John's, was hit, spun, and died. They actually have to tell you the best estimate as to when it happened, why, not why it happened. They don't have to prove motive, but the best estimate as to when it happened and what happened. And they have to prove what happened beyond a reasonable doubt. Does anybody, and I'm sure there's haters in your chat too, does anybody think they have a firm understanding of exactly what happened and how it happened to him? Too many questions. And when there's too many questions and the prosecution doesn't satisfy its case and answer all those key questions, and not just simply throw a bunch of spaghetti on the wall to see what sticks, then it's always got to be an acquittal. That's in your Constitution.
And I Larry Legend has a good question. He says, Nan, have you ever seen a lawyer state they don't have evidence and can't be asked to produce it? A judge rule an agreement, then come back and state they are creating the evidence, aka Sallyport video log.
I love you. I'm just sending you love, and you know why. But as far as your question is concerned, I have experience with the first part of it. And Mike, do me a favor, just keep it up for a second, because the first part of your question I do have experience with. I have seen lawyers on the other side, including on the prosecution side, and in civil cases, tell judges, we don't have this evidence. If we had it, she's asking for this. If we had it, we'd produce it. And therefore, judges have ruled, well, Miss Gallagher, they're giving you what they have. So they can't give you something they don't have. What I haven't seen is the last part of your question, which is now it's suddenly appeared or it's been created, it's been manufactured now. That's ridiculous. That's what took something that's moderately understandable, if you're picking up what Brennan's putting down, and then took it into the complete hyperdrive. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. So it's a great question. This is unheard of. This is unacceptable. The fact that, and these are my opinions, the fact that Brennan, who's my understanding, a criminal defense attorney by nature, is making these types of representations before a judge up in the Commonwealth absolutely drives me insane, because if he were a defense attorney on this case, he would be stomping up and down saying, this is inappropriate. And I dare say most judges would immediately dismiss the case outright.
Excellent. Comment came in from Jim. He says, Boozy Beauty YouTube, jury tampering, jury foreman was in on it too. I haven't seen that video. I like Boozy. I actually need to get her back on the show. She's got YouTube now. She's on YouTube as well as TikTok and I think Instagram. She does really well on there. Do you know Boozy Beauty? Do you follow her?
No, but I always tell people I don't know all the creators.
Yeah, we don't know everybody, and we don't see every video, but I'm gonna check it out now. Now that you mentioned it, Jim, I'm gonna check it out because I know Boozy, she's on the scene. Like, she's someone who's local. She shows up at the protest, and she's also like a big TikTok creator, and now on YouTube. She's on Twitter as well. I like her. She's good. So I'm interested to take a look at that. Yeah, we'll definitely check that out.
I will watch that, and I actually have a feeling that my personal opinion is I think the foreman was somehow touched. I'm just going to say
something weird about it. Yeah. He's I like to say he's sus, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough. There's no proof, but we'll see. Maybe Boozy found something that I don't know. No idea.
Watch that. Thanks, Jim.
We're gonna watch it. We'll check it out. I mean, that's a thing too. I think that this could go in a lot of interesting places here. That now that the defense has brought it up, we know this is gonna be a side. Like, it's funny because some of the other side said that she wouldn't even have a hearing on this. That she wouldn't even. I mean, that seems crazy. She's definitely gonna have a hearing about it.
If she doesn't have a hearing, let me be very clear, because I'm so passionate about this, Mike. Judge Bev, if you don't hold a hearing on this evidence, I'm not talking about the motion, I'm talking about the what the heck happened to this evidence, but you'll have a suspended hearing on February 18th because of grave issues or grave concerns that you seem to formulate in your brain after Hank Brennan put a bunch of bald, unsupported assertions on the record, and then held the following week every bit of a 5-hour hearing on the issue of whether ARCA was or was not paid, essentially, or representations of Alan Jackson on the record were or were not accurate. And you're not going to have an evidentiary hearing on this, which is Brady-related issues, Giglio-related issues, constitutional issues set forth in hundreds of cases in this whole stream of legal progeny, then I can't say anything that I can think of right now to simply say to you all, please, God save Massachusetts. This is what you need to spend days on. This. So I know I get a lot of flack. People think I'm too passionate or animated. This is so important. I'm still not sure. I'm really not sure in my mind when this motion is being argued. I keep hearing from people, maybe it's being argued on Wednesday. I'll believe it when I see it. I really don't know. Just because these kind of schedules get a little bit fluid. Because, for example, Karen's going to be, I believe, in federal court that morning. And then after federal court comes to the Judge Bev's court, no one has an official time on that yet. So when that motion is argued, and I'm not convinced it will be aired publicly, because there's pieces of these motion papers that are
Redacted.
redacted.
Yep.
So, to be a fly on the wall in the court that day.
Yeah. I hope they air it. It's like must-see TV. People wanna see it, so
Whomever's in the courtroom Wednesday or whatever day that motion is argued, bring a notepad.
oh,
Bring a
yeah.
notepad and or live tweet about it.
Hopefully, it's not Grant Smith Ellis.
Hopefully not.
We don't
Hopefully.
need any more science fiction from him.
Oh, I agree. I think he needs to find a better avenue for his skills. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. It's best not even to talk about him.
Yeah.
I don't know why I brought him up. Buzzing for Truth as a question. Dan, do you think other judges, what do you think other judges think of Bev?
I have no idea. Buzzing for Truth. But I would probably venture a guess that judges outside of that, the Norfolk County Superior Court, and possibly outside of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do not like what she's doing. It seems patently biased to me. And it brings up one point, which is one of the critiques that I get on social media, is that I am clearly not being objective. How can you're just not objective? I don't need to be objective. I don't make any secret about the fact that my mind is made up in terms of the missteps here. I do find, and I say it respectfully, that Judge Bev has exhibited, and I said it on the first show I was on with you, Mike, someone needs to pull the statistics of her rulings, whether they're in favor of the defense or in favor of the Commonwealth. She's clearly exhibiting an imbalance in her rulings, and I think judges elsewhere would agree. But in my opinion, and from my experience, and within the bounds of ethics rules, just like you don't see a lot of cops and law enforcement officers, not a lot of them, stepping forward publicly and saying what happened up in Massachusetts was improper and steps were not properly followed. Like, a lot of law enforcement officers won't come out publicly to criticize it. I do believe the same would be true for a lot of judges. It's people think, but they're not always as outspoken. So take it for what it's worth.
Yes, I'm sorry. I want to answer this question real quick from Twilight Jen. She says, what is the link to the defense fund? It's pinned at the top of the chat. You can get to the defense fund right there at that link at the top of the chat from Sarah and Chuck and Horror. And if you're looking for it offline, maybe it not, after the fact you're watching this, it's free KarenReed.net, which links to the actual fundraiser. So you can find it that way as well. But the easiest way too is just go to Google and just say Karen Reed Defense Fund. It will pop up at the top. So if you're ever looking for that, especially after the show's over, where the chat's not there, you can find it that way too. Please definitely donate today if you can. $5. You can get in to get one of the stickers today. We got these new stickers. They're only available today by donating directly to the Karen Reed Defense Fund. We take none of the money. It all goes to Karen Reed. You're giving donations directly to her. I love this. I thank you so much for being here tonight, Attorney Gallagher. Today, I say tonight, you're live on some other shows today. What other shows, what time can people look for you today?
Oh, thank you. It's great being here. I'm on at 4:00 with Calling All Beings with DJ and Beatrice. And then at 7:00 with John Camo on Campton Confidential. I always get the name of that wrong.
That's going to be, he's the wild man. Do you know about John?
Not much, but I will say I know a little. I think I've heard him on your show.
A lot.
Yeah.
I think I was probably the first one to bring him on.
He's always eating Chinese food in the green room.
Yeah, he is. He's got a very serious brother who's like an attorney, and then John's the wild man, and John is He's known to raise money on my show by taking off his shirt at the end of every show.
Ooh,
But I think the last time he didn't. So I think he might have gotten beyond that. But the whole thing on that is because Jen McCabe liked some of his pictures that were near naked and sent them to Turtle Boy. So that's
interesting.
why he really hams it up on the no shirt thing. It's so funny. He's
Uh,
hilarious. I love
well,
John.
I will say I'm looking forward to it. I know, so I have a business trip coming up, and I had mentioned I was a little tight on time today, and he had said just 15 minutes or so, and I said that's fine. I think he has some other information
Yes.
he wants to discuss concerning it, person X. I know nothing about that, but I'll be popping on at 7 o'clock with John, and he's been nothing but an absolute doll in communicating with me to set it up. So
When I say a wild man, he's a good wild man. Like he's also somebody who gets a lot of info. Like he grew up in Canton. He graduated from Canton High School. He was an athlete, hockey player. He knows all these people. His brother is on the planning board for Canton Planning Board. Like I said, he's an attorney. And John gets the dirt. Like people trust John. He gets a lot of info. He's fed me a few times, like in terms of stories, and I think he's fed Turtle Boy actually a few times, probably locally, because John is somebody who gets the dirt. He knows everybody. He knows how to. So he's an interesting character. That will be a good show.
I want to apologize to him because I think I called his show Canton Confidential. It's Canton Chronicles.
You don't have to. That's his too, actually.
Is it?
His brother and him started this. This is how I met them. A Facebook group called Canton Confidential, and it's like the hottest, wildest Facebook group. Then there was another one started. There was some controversy with George because George was starting to get a little too nice, like with the other side. It's so funny, but George is great. George and John are awesome. I love them.
I'm really
So.
looking forward to
Yeah,
it. He's
and then
been
NBC stole it. NBC has their series, call it Canton Confidential, and it's like, well, John and George had the Facebook group first, Canton Confidential. So
See, John and George, that's why you need a good attorney who would have gotten you trademarked, registered, and not postmarked, copyrighted, trademarked, and registered with your term before someone went and
you know
stole it.
what? They could probably still file something and get a little money, or if I were them, I would ask for some coverage. I would say, put me on the show, and I won't come after you for using Canton Confidential.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting name. It's very catchy. I'm very much looking forward to having a conversation with him because I enjoy when he comes on your show. I watch you very regularly, Mike. You have such a soothing approach. It's really pacifying to listen to you, and you bring on great content. All things considered. Not me. Everyone else you bring on is so
Have you seen me lose my shit yet though? Because that happens sometimes.
fantastic.
Sometimes I got fired up and
I've seen you. Yeah, one time.
yeah, one time. It's
Nobody's
funny.
seen me lose mine yet, though. It's coming.
It's easy
But
to do in this case. I mean, just the judge drives me nuts now. Oh,
she's driving all of us nuts. And I keep telling people if she really, look, I have to be careful in what I say about her, but if she truly is involved, if she's somehow involved in whatever you want to call it, a cover up, corruption, or any of that, and I won't say she is. If you feel that way, and she is involved, why would she not be more even-handed with her rulings? It harkens me back to the program Your Honor on Showtime, which had Bryan Cranston, I think his name is. And I encourage anyone to watch it because he was a judge and he played a judge, and he got himself intermingled with people who were trying to influence or could influence rulings that he issued. And I mean, it's not on all fours with what we're talking about, but he had external influences on him as a judge. And in his mind, he had to make more balanced rulings because it looks so apparently obvious when you don't do that. So I have to say, she's the verdict's still out for me. I don't know what I want to say about her, but it is imbalanced and it's painfully so. So I hope she has an evidentiary hearing, and I know there's others who would agree with me.
Comment that came in I want to address from Captain Trips. I appreciate the donation, but I don't really agree with the sentiment. He says cops won't criticize because they all do the same thing every day. No cops are good people. I, I can't agree with that. I've had ex FBI, ex Mass State Police. Like, look at Todd McGee coming on my show Monday night with the state senator. He's retired Mass State Police. That guy is solid. The retired highway patrolman for North Carolina that came on my show. That guy is so solid. There are actually a lot of good cops, I believe. And I think that we should judge people as individuals, not as you're a cop, so you're either great or bad. And just, that I get mad at people who always give cops the benefit of the doubt. And I also get mad at people who always think that all cops suck. I think we should look at people as individuals. What do you think about that, Nan? The comments from Captain Trips.
I agree with your approach, Mike. Like, I think the cops in this case are bad, okay, but they're not indicative of all cops. And I have represented lots of police officers and law enforcement in my career, early on in my career. I have lots of friends who are in law enforcement. I don't think I can agree with no cops are good people, but Captain Trips, you're being respectful in how you submit your opinion, and that's something I respect very much, and I think Mike does as well. So this is a great example of agreeing to disagree, and you may have, and I'm sure you do, a different experience than I do or than Mike does. So I try to see the good in some people, well, all people, and then some people show me that there is not much good, and that's when I either draw my inferences or block people. So, I respect your opinion. I disagree with it, though.
Thank you, Captain Trips. Miss Black 1909, Miss Black 1909 says, how is the metadata of defense's email a grave concern? And the very metadata on criminal evidence is no biggie. Love from Poland. The world is watching.
Hey, Poland. Yeah, no, I honestly agree with you. I think I said this a few minutes ago too. You can't say one thing in one breath and then do something else in a different breath. The level of hypocrisy here with what is so serious versus what's not, especially on issues that involve like Brady and Giglio, these two really overarching legal cases that govern this kind of stuff according to our Supreme Court. It's unbelievable. Your instincts are spot on, even in Poland. So you see it,
Yeah. Here's a good comment too, from Beth in the chat. Says, I feel that the cop from Dighton testified truthfully. I do too. And I think he's like, I don't know him. I don't know about his history, but just from his testimony, I feel like he's probably a good cop.
Yeah, Beth, I agree with you. And for a little bit more of a take on that, you might want to go to, I was on Seeking Justice with Tom CPU and Boston Mike, maybe Friday or Thursday of last week. And they asked me the same question, which is a good comment. And my only thing I will add here is, I think that Nick Barros, if I believe his name is accurate.
Barros. Yep.
Barros seemed like he was not going to concede that this taillight was completely shattered or destroyed. The only thing now is with trial 2.0 coming. And for those who may think, well, let's really explore that. We're going to cross-examine him. We're going to get him to support our defense position. The only caveat to that is never ask a question that you don't know the answer to. So he is a Commonwealth witness. I don't know or care if he's on the defense witness list. What I want to just let you know is a lot of things can get influenced in the trial preparatory process. So I think Barros is a great witness for the defense, and I'm sitting on the edge of my seat as to how he's going to be for trial 2.0. I hope he does the honorable thing. And it is very hard from a peer pressure standpoint, in my opinion, to stand up to other law enforcement officers and to have integrity. Remember they asked Proctor, Jackson asked Proctor on the stand, do you know what integrity is? And what did Proctor say? Doing the right thing when no one's watching. I hope if Nicholas Barros is watching this at any point, I hope you show some integrity in 2.0. I know there's risks to all people who step up. I face a little bit of those risks too. If you step up and speak out, sometimes it's not, people don't want to hear it, but I hope you testify consistently and even more completely at trial 2.0, because people like Karen and frankly, all of justice in general needs people like you to do so.
People need to see it too. Like that's the other thing too. I think it means a lot to policing and the courts, and
Yeah.
it's like it's a has a wider effect because there's so many eyeballs watching this. It's how people perceive things. Captain Trips comes back. He said, I should have said in Massachusetts, I know two people with caught parents who both killed kids drunk driving and got off because of who they were.
Ooh. Oh my God. Oh, well, Captain Trips, this is a perfect example, and I'm very sorry to hear that news, but it's a perfect example of why everybody's unique experiences colors their views. And that's the same with jurors. So jurors have their own life experiences. And honestly, as a litigator, in all, civil, administrative, and criminal, we want jurors to bring their personal views and experiences to the table, and most importantly, their common sense. But it's where things might go a little bit further or more broadly. Things like, and I mean nothing but respect to you, Captain Trips, but nothing, something like all cops are bad. That's probably not a juror, either side, even Karen's side wouldn't want someone as a juror in that case, because that seems to be partial or biased. And I don't mean any offense when I say that either. So I try to see the good in people. And I know and respect that your opinion is from your personal experience, and keep bringing it to the table, because people will listen to you. And some people may even change your mind over time. And I know that there are cops in my view who are good people and who do protect and serve and who don't cross any blue lines. So those are my sentiments to you. Thank you. I'm going to say thank you, sir, although I often get surprised with genders nowadays and handles.
Said he too. So you never know.
Yeah.
Captain Trips could be anything. Mr. Monk's understudy says, can Nan expound, clarify what she said about boots on the ground in federal court this Wednesday? Thanks in advance.
Oh yeah. By the way, Mr. Monk's understudy, I think you protect me on X. If I think, I always try to thank people when I recognize handles.
He's
So
definitely on X. Yeah.
So this week, all right, this week, and I misspoke, I believe on Tom CPU's channel. The big dates are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday for Karen Reed. Okay. Tuesday is court for Karen in, I call it Bev's Circus. So there will be court at the Dedham courthouse there. And, there'll be, I'm assuming people will be boots on the ground there. Wednesday there's really three things, but as it relates to Wednesday, you have Karen is arguing at the federal, that's not true. Wednesday is the federal habeas petition. It seems like it's in a preliminary conference at the federal court, and that's in Boston. I don't know the address, but I have
See, everybody knows it's I believe it's the Moakley Courthouse, Joe Moakley Courthouse. It's basically Boston Harbor. Everyone knows where it is. It's the main courthouse.
I'm showing the fact that I'm from Jersey. I love Boston, but I didn't know where that courthouse was.
It's a beautiful building. It's wait till it's got a beautiful, especially inside. Once you're inside it, make sure you take a view of the harbor out there. It's amazing. You can walk out there too.
Um, and at the federal courthouse, I kind of gave a little word of guidance the other day on seeking justice, which is federal court is, in my opinion, and from my experience, not a place for boots on the ground. It's hallowed ground. It's not well received by federal judges for people to be standing showing support, even if it's, quiet or peaceful protesting. It's just a different animal. I am not telling people what to do. I'm simply telling you from my experience, federal court is not the proper place to show public support for a particular cause. Please do, everyone do what you want on that. So that's in the morning, Wednesday. And then thereafter, whether it's a conference or the habeas petition is being argued, and I've heard varying takes on that from lawyers, they then go back to Bev's circus, and that will be from whatever time until, I'm assuming, the afternoon. And boots on the ground, I'm assuming, will be outside that day. And then Friday is another full day in court. I have no idea what's set to happen then. So I hope I answered your question.
Some of it could get delayed too. I think the prosecution was asking it to be delayed recently from one of the filings I saw. So some of this could get delayed, then flux, who knows? We'll see what happens. But on Wednesday too, with the federal, I think you make a good point on that too, because again, like the feds haven't put Karen Reed on trial. State has, so there's much more to protest with state, there with what Bev is doing, the Bev circus. So that's like much more appropriate for standout too, I believe. But it's up to people. I don't care what people do. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are gonna show up anyways, probably to both. And I I love watching the videos. I love to see what's going on. So I hope some people are live streaming outside of federal court, definitely, so I can watch from while I'm walking my dogs on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, it's people want to learn from this. So if people don't heed a little guidance I give, or not everyone's going to see it, do as you all would like. It's you made a good point though. Like, the feds didn't do anything to her. She's asking for some relief in a different jurisdiction. So, by the
Yeah.
way, now that you took the, whether it was a super chatter away, it reminded me I have to show you my t-shirt today, as I've been getting beaten up on
Witch's brew?
Yeah, so I'm getting beaten up on Twitter. So I have my Witch's Brew Coffee House,
Oh,
Salem, Massachusetts, established 1692 shirt on.
wow. Where
And
did you go to Salem for that?
no, I bought it on Amazon.
Wow.
But anyway,
I could have got it. Yeah, I could have got it right from the witches here. I live right there. That's basically where you're in my neck of the woods. That's the North Shore. That's
that's
where I'm
awesome.
at. Yeah.
I actually I'm being very tongue in cheek. I think Karen's being persecuted right now, and it's just showing a little snarky support, tongue in cheek.
Definitely. We're all a bunch of witches now.
Oh, look at, I'm seeing this comment. He reports
Yeah.
for jury duty
This is
March
why
6th.
yeah, this is why I got excited. I'm like, "Jam, you think this person, Captain Trips, might be on the jury?"
The amount of a colonoscopy that both sides are going to give to try to find jurors for an April 1 trial date, which I think is still not going to happen that day. They're going to really dig, and I think that they'll probably figure out that you might have a little bit of a bias there, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
But
I wonder if they're gonna ask, "Have you ever watched Turtle Boy, The Young Jerks, Nurse Kim," and list all the shows.
I would. I would, but by the way, I had a trial back in November, and it was November. I had specific questions on the jury questionnaire, and it was a criminal case, and I put specific streamers who I know stream about that particular case. And the other side, of course, prosecution, wanted to strike those. And I'm like, why? This is all about, and I hate to sound like Vinnie Politan, because I understand there's a tinge to that, But why are we not getting to the truth? Like, isn't this both sides supposed to be getting to the truth? Don't both sides, in my case, want to know if potential jurors are streaming one side of content versus another side of content? So this is the type of minutia that lawyers get into. And it's very important. So I think his name Jim or Captain Trips. Like, I think
Captain Trips. Yep.
they're gonna find you. They're gonna find you out.
Yeah. Man, I want to, if they put us on the jury questionnaire, I want to find out, Captain Trips, if they spell jerks right. Jurks. If Hank Brennan misspells that, I'm going to be upset.
I am too.
He misspells his own name. So, I mean,
I know, with Breenan, like, seriously, sloppy. And look, I'm not perfect. People misspell things. I have crappy thumbs. I'm awful on X. I get it. I might forget a word here and there. Not in legal pleadings.
that
No.
should be proofread.
They should be proofread, and for what he's being paid, and Aiden kind of went into some of that beyond. Aiden gave his take last night about, like, this contract with Brennan, and is it really a contract if he can still be paid more, etc., which I was just laughing about because he's so correct. For how much he is entitled to ultimately be paid, when there are X number of other qualified prosecutors in that office, I think the Commonwealth taxpayers should actually care that the individual typing and submitting these pleadings knows what he's talking about, is factually accurate, makes sound, cohesive, legally supported arguments, and knows how to type proper spelling and proper grammar into his briefs, and none of which I'm seeing. So you're not getting your money's worth.
Yeah, he's getting paid a lot of money. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I think Aiden said could be like $500,000. Like, he's 250 to $500,000. That's probably what he's going to. It's unbelievable.
Well,
Guy's making bank.
And Mike, one of the things that I know is loosely talked about, but not talked about enough for someone like me, which is, I want to know what that paralegal or whatever she is to him is getting paid, because trust me, Brennan's not paying her. If there is as I've heard, a female who's working on this case, having access to confidential information and has the same type of duty to disclose, discovery, etc., and touching things that are governed by protective orders, she's got a contract, she's getting paid. Let's find out how much that is. That's a little avenue I would pursue for all of you internet sleuths.
Follow the money.
Thank
you. Yeah. Thank you, Carissa. Lola, the good dog. We got a good dog sending comments. I got 2 good dogs. They've been so silent. These dogs are so good today. I got a visitor, and I got Charlie here, and they are just so chill today. I love these dogs. So I like Lola. She's a good dog too, apparently. Says, "Hi, Nan. I'm confused by Hank. He has no problem lying about the defense, yet continues to send over more video evidence, even though it makes him look worse. Would love to know your thoughts."
Yeah. Like, this is, hi Lola, by the way, this is the epitome of gaslighting. Like, people who say one thing make you think, oh, okay, it's my fault. You're telling me it's my fault. Then they do the very thing that they're making you think you're at fault for, and then doing it. And then you're like, wait, what? Huh? I used to work for someone like that. It was very traumatizing. I'll never forget it. And now I'm in a position where and I'm not alone. I have an extremely high sensitivity level for gaslighting. This is gaslighting. So when you have Brennan say, we didn't have, we produce everything we could, we'll produce something if it exists. And then I'll say, oh, well, we found out they delete files after 30 days, but then they'll hand you over data or materials that clearly were beyond the 30 days. You sit here and go, which is the accurate story he's going with? There's just too many inconsistencies and misrepresentations. And these, just to be very clear, because I was kind of hammering this last week on some streams, these inconsistencies, these changes of stories, these unsupported assertions, these snarky little comments that Brennan makes on the record, the pointing fingers at the other side, these are what Judge Bev should be focusing on, not whether someone like Alan Jackson or Yannetti or whomever knew about a bill, should have paid a bill, etc. You want to talk about misplaced attention, that this is a classic example of it. So she better come into court this week really prepared, in my opinion, meaning Judge Bev, to pay the due attention to the very serious issues raised in this motion to dismiss, and not dismiss it, I'm using that figuratively, not dismiss it outright like people like Mr. Tim Panic on social media, another lawyer, thinks. This is a valid motion that should be filed. Oh, yes. And thank you, Scott McGinnis, because I meant to say that. Turtle, so there are 3 things on Wednesday. And I mean no disrespect to Aiden, because I interrupted myself. So it's federal court for Karen in the morning. I think it's at 9:30. Then there's state court or Commonwealth Judge Bev Circus for her thereafter. And then I believe it's at 2:30, might be PM. 2 o'clock PM. Aiden has his motion to dismiss with Bradel and the King. And there's a link there to donate to it. So he needs all the support he can get. That motion, Aiden's motion, is fire. It is
we
fire.
went over it the other night, and it was just amazing to see it and have him go over it. If you didn't get a chance, watch that interview we had the other night with him. He was amazing to the audience. Thank you, Scott McGinnis, for posting out. People support Aiden Carney Wednesday at 2 p.m. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully we're able to stream it. I want to stream them all. Hopefully we'll be streaming a lot this week during the week. I want to thank Ask Bob. We're also looking at, again, I think I have it on the screen. Let me bring it back up. We have more donations coming in. There was 250 just sent in. The comment was, truth always prevails. Stay strong, Karen team. We are with you. God bless. Thank you, the Young Jerks. Wow. And more donations have been coming in today, excuse me. Zelda just made a donation. Thank you so much. I love to see this. We're doing this fundraiser. You can find out the details at the bottom. If you kick in today, it's pinned at the top of the chat to the Karen Reed Defense Fund. You send us a copy, just basically a screen capture of your donation, and you can get one of these stickers that we have, and you can send an email message over with your mailing address, mjcboston1@yahoo.com, or message us on Facebook or our Twitter account. Right. Thank you so much for everyone donating tonight. We're almost out of time. Did want to do a couple calls. You want to take a couple calls, see if people will call in?
Oh my God. Yes. That's a first, Mike.
Oh, really? Well, we're going to do StreamYard right now, calls, because my phone line was acting up with the new computer. I think I figured out what the issue is, but I don't want to take a chance on that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put the StreamYard in. And for people that want to try to get through, I can't guarantee I'm going to get everyone on the screen. But you don't have to do video. If you just feel like doing audio, you can select that as well. If you do call in, make sure you turn off your other devices, whatever you're watching it on. I'm going to put that link in the chat right now for anyone who wants to try calling in. Usually it takes a couple of minutes before people catch up to us.
I'm as nervous right now, Mike, as I was before I came on the first time with you.
For the questions?
Yeah, because guys have to understand. And by the way, Kelly, thank you for that comment. You're so sweet. Thank you for your kindness. But guys, like I talk to people, I talk to strangers about this case, like anybody who will listen. And the fact that I might talk on the phone with someone right now.
I got someone we want to talk to. He's a local DJ. He's very well known and respected. in the town of Canton. We got people all calling in right now. Let's bring up Gary T. I love this. First caller is from Canton. Is this Gary Titus?
It is, Mike. How are you?
Great. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. What a great guest! And I was scrolling by and I saw your show, and I'm looking forward to hearing Nan on with John tonight. What
Oh,
what a great guest!
thank you, Gary.
You've got so much to say. You brought a lot to my with things that I haven't thought of. Why isn't Judge Bev punishing Hanky for and the Commonwealth for all of a sudden finding things that were lost before.
Agreed. By the way, I just need to mention, Mike, I thought it was going to be a dial-in. I get to see Gary. Like this is like Disneyland.
Usually we do the dial-in, but
I would have shaved.
This is awesome. And by the way, Gary, you're so right, because the misdirected level of, I don't know what you want to call it, attention that Judge Bev is placing on last week's BS versus this issue here, there should have been, in my opinion, an order that she entered that hit the docket that basically already convened some type of evidentiary hearing. And there hasn't been. So that's why people like me who have legal experience, we're looking at this going, if she doesn't come into court, at least on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm not sure what's happening during these 2 days. If she doesn't come in angry and have grave concerns and shaking like she's having a conniption, then I think we're in a complete other universe. Because
it was kind of a joke last week when she says, I'm shocked and dismayed, and I feel really bad. But boy, oh boy, I mean, if she doesn't do some of the things that you're suggesting, I mean, that is clear proof, and on top of a pile of more clear proof that this is a fix.
Really.
I agree. I mean, other lawyers may disagree, but I like that you're agreeing with me. I think you're a smart guy.
You have to get speech into the chorus here. I want to ask Gary a quick question before I let you go. We got a bunch of people waiting to get on. You're a Canton resident.
Yep.
Right. Are you voting for Susan Harrington for a select board?
I am absolutely voting for Susan Harrington. I will tell you this. Anytime I ever called John Conley for something, he was always there for me. And I've known Helena Rafferty since she was a little girl. I love her and I love her family. But if nothing changes, then nothing changes. John Conley's been in office for 35 years. And as long as he's in office, Helena will still be the chief of police. And I feel bad for the young police in Canton who are going to be shadowed by her and overshadowed by her. Their careers are going to be overshadowed by her and the former chief, Ken Berkowitz. I'm sorry to sound so cruel. I'm sorry I'm not standing up with the townies, but I can't do that. I mean, if I'm silent, I'm part of the crime.
I like that.
So
that needs to be on a t-shirt, Gary.
I just put it on my Facebook page, so that's where I got it from.
Ooh, I might have to find you on Facebook.
I just friended you.
Oh, thank you.
Love it, Gary. I love when you call. You're the man.
Mike,
you're a DJ too. You have DJ services. Are you still doing that?
I just do trivia 2 nights a week. I did 47 years. I had a great job. I worked at 2 very popular nightclubs, one in Canton and one in Cape Cod. The one in Cape Cod was called Puffer Bellies, and it was
legendary.
It was the greatest job in the world. But we'll talk more about that, and I'll let you get your other calls.
Love it. I want to have you back. We're going to do some Canton shows upcoming about Susan Harrington. I really appreciate you calling in tonight, Gary.
I was out on my 3-mile walk yesterday and finally got to say hello to her.
Awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens on that. Thank you so much, Gary.
Bye,
all right.
Gary.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Nan.
Thank you.
We have them all lined up. We got Mexico City. We got Michigan. We got.
Am I talking to Mexico City in Spanish?
No, he speaks. Yeah, I think he's from America, actually. I got a retired Highway Patrol, North Carolina State Highway Patrol. Let's bring him up first, see what he's got. He just came on the show the last episode. He's calling in too.
Hi,
my friend. How you doing?
Hey, Mike, how you doing? Good. I wanted to ask Nan, in all of the so-called profile cases we've had here in North Carolina, they always get an attorney from the Attorney General's office. I have never seen a person come out of private practice to work with the DA. And, you know, most good attorneys I know make $75,000 in 3 days. So I find it unusual that they would pick a defense attorney. Where's the Attorney General's office? 99% of the time here, they bring somebody from the Attorney General's office to help them out.
Oh, I agree with you. And before I forget, both my parents retired to North Carolina. They've since passed away, but they lived in North Carolina for 20 years. And I vacationed in North Carolina every year growing up. So I have a special place in my heart for your state, sir. And thank you for all of your service. And I agree with you. Where's the Attorney General's office? Many times in lieu of either going out of the office and finding a special prosecutor from a private defense firm, they will go to the Attorney General's office. Or even if the prosecutor Morrissey wanted to retain a special prosecutor, Brennan, in this case, the Attorney General's office will step in and oversee, almost like, what do they call it? There's a term for it, which is bothering me. It's going to escape my mind. Something essentially to do with being like a master of discovery, a discovery master, we call it here in New Jersey, where there seems to be questions as to whether things were properly handed over or disclosed timely, whether metadata existed and when. And many times an attorney general's office will oversee those types of allegations, because in this case, if you leave this prosecution and Brennan to their own devices, you get changed stories along the way, and who knows what makes sense, and you can't make heads or tails of it. Also, I saw your program with Mike. I think your insights are not only exceptionally relevant, but brave for you to put them forward. So I just wanted to send a special thank you to you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And the reason I bring that up is we've had police officers, we've had politicians and other high profile people, and the DA's office always goes away from it, and the Attorney General always comes in to prosecute the case. So that's just that's the only question I had, and I appreciate you bringing me up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mike.
So much. Thank you. Have a great day. Got a lot of good people here. We're gonna keep them quick. We got 3 more in the waiting. So let's try to keep them quick so we can wrap it up. And Mexico City, what do you have? A quick question for us, a comment today?
I have a comment that I think might be one of the most important ones on the hearing we just had. You mentioned Nan gaslighting. This hearing was held after the juror told us that they completely discounted the ARCA testimony because they thought it was hired by her insurance company or Turtle Boy. She was denied her constitutional right to simply tell them, we didn't hire them, the feds did. Even if you don't bring up the investigation, they would have found her not guilty if they had been told the truth. And Hank is running around actually arguing that he was harmed. The prosecution was harmed because they thought the ARCA guys were completely independent. How can anyone think justice is served by not telling the jury a simple, undeniable fact and letting them assume something that isn't true? That's what drives me crazy. Was that gaslighting, not just on his failure to turn over evidence, but gaslighting the whole point? It was the exact opposite, like Bizarro World.
I agree
Absolutely.
with you wholeheartedly, Mexico City, and you're 100% right. I couldn't have said it better than you did. And also, as far as the inability to reference the federal investigation in any way, other than loosely kind of touching upon a federal grand jury, it's hiding the ball. It's not giving the jury the whole truth. And I get it. There's evidence rules that have to be weighed, prejudice versus relevance and value. But this jury was misled and confused. And those are also in the same court rule, same evidence rule that Judge Bev cites to keep the federal piece of this out. And Ronnie, the juror, said they were by everything he did outlay. They clearly were confused. They clearly were misled. So
Well, my problem is too, like, I understand that's the way we've done things for a while and it's the rules of evidence. But I think a lot of lawyers just accept that when the real determiner of facts should be the jury. They should say, the judge should give an instruction. We don't know if this investigation is going to come back and find that anyone's guilty or not guilty. But the fact that we just all accept you can't even be told about it when someone's on trial for their life. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. Not, well, oh, it might prejudice the other side. I thought all prejudices were supposed to go towards the defendant, not the state.
Totally.
I agree with you. By the way, I haven't seen you in chats. I try to look for names, etc. You have a very strong voice, sir. Please.
Yeah.
He's on Twitter. He's on Twitter. We can find him on Twitter. He's got some videos on Twitter.
I gotta find you on Twitter if I don't already.
I'll message you on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm under Lawferio.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And I did grow up in the U.S. I'm Dave Tree's friend. How did you forget?
That's right. Yeah, that's why I did. I knew that you were Dave Tree's friend, but I wasn't sure if you actually grew up here. I didn't know.
At some point, we'll talk Spanish. I lived in South America for 2 years during college.
Si quieres, puedo hablar contigo en español. No hay problema.
Yo hablo español. Muy bien, hoy.
Can I ask where you grew up? Since you said you were Dave Tree's friend, you grew up in the U.S.
I grew up in Westwood. I went to the same high school as him.
Well, yeah.
We went to the Grateful Dead together in 1990 and the first Lollapalooza out of our minds.
Wow. With Dave Tree?
With Dave Tree. I'll tell you about that sometime offline. I got in trouble once. Yeah, I kind of spilled a little too much. And he was like, dude, I can't believe you outed me online. So I won't say it, but I'll tell you offline sometime.
I want to hear about it. Dave Tree is a legend. Westwood rules. Thank
you.
Westwood, hardcore.
But spread that message. It was gaslighting. Karen Reed was prejudiced, not the prosecution.
I will.
100%.
We need a show with him.
He calls in a lot. He's Dave Tree is a legend, a hardcore legend that he grew up with. I didn't know he went to Westwood High with Dave. That's amazing. I love Dave. I gotta get Dave back on here.
I didn't know
Kelly.
Westwood High with Dave. That's amazing.
Kelly, I'm gonna remove you. You got to turn off whatever you're watching on. We can hear the echo in the background. Please turn it off. M from Michigan. Are you there? I think we might have lost M from Michigan. I'm gonna probably go back to Kelly. Go back. Let's bring up Kelly.
Sure she's ready. I'm sure she's ready.
Kelly, are you ready?
M from Michigan. I'm gonna probably go back to Kelly.
Hi.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
I can't hear without muting my TV, but I'm actually getting ready to see going to Nurse Kim's live meetup today, so that's exciting.
Oh, fun.
But I love Only Nan. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to come on. My hair's a mess, but I'm really excited. I always wanted to go to law school. So Nan, I just wanted to say that personally, I think that you're so inspiring. And then just the way that you're so giving and you're always helping out the creators and saying how we all feel. I'm sorry if you hear an echo. I might have to mute myself because I can't hear anything without my TV being on. But I just wanted to say that. And I love Mike and the Young Jerks, Young Jelly. Yeah, that's about it. I just thank you guys for all you do.
Thank you. I'm not sure Kelly can even hear me because it sounds like she had to mute but Kelly, thank you so much for your kind words. Please send Nurse Kim my best. I wish I could be up there today for that. You are a beautiful soul and a beautiful person. Don't you worry about your hair. My hair gets made fun of all the time. And you know what? Has nothing to do with how smart and intuitive you are. So you're bringing a tear to my eye, girl. You have a good day.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. That was great. That we made that work. That was perfect.
Man. I got the feels, Mike. I'm a very tender person. So
yeah, she looked like she was about I love it. I love that she got through. Wow.
Thank you.
It's amazing the calls that we get. I'm waiting to see if one more person calls in. Jessica said she wanted to call in. I just dropped it in the chat, Jessica. I would take your call quickly, Miss Jessica.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. but we'll see. We're almost out of time too. I want to check the super chats. I mean, not the super chats, the Karen Reed fundraiser donation. If you just joined us, we're doing a Karen Reed fundraiser today for some stickers, and people have been donating. The link is pinned at the top of the chat, and I'm really excited to see all these donations that have come in today. We just got a new one from Denise.
Mike, you're running your fundraiser later too, right? During your other stream?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So Denise, it says FKR Mike at the Young Jerk sticker. She just sent $10 in. Let me get them on the screen. It's amazing. I love to watch them come in. It's just so wild to see people picking up.
By the way, someone just posted they saw my dog walk by. Like, my dog wants to bust in here so quickly. Like, she's very jealous of mommy's time.
My dogs are being so good right now. I'm shocked how good they are. We got $10 here from Beth as well. Tammy sent $10, $20 from an anonymous. Thank you so much. The donations just keep coming in. I hope I have enough stickers. That's the thing. I may be out of stickers by tonight. There's another one, 15 from Zelda. I think we mentioned that earlier. Erica. Wow. I thank you so much, everyone who's been donating to the Karen Reed Defense Fund. I want to thank Nan Gallagher for being here today. I keep saying tonight. I'm so used to saying tonight. Did I miss any super chats? Here's one. Said Bobby Alessi's linguistic prowess. Says Nan is our new Bettero law expert. We love you, Nan.
I'm not Bettero, Bobby Alessi's linguistic prowess, but thank you.
And Lady Zelda Kelly is on here. She did a super chat after she made a donation to Karen Reed. I really appreciate that. There's a comment from Mr. Monk's understudy about something Meredith posted yesterday as a reply to a troll who said Nan looks different in real life than on YouTube. He replied, did Masshole Mafia just admit to stalking Nan? Oh my God. Are you getting stalked by her? Is that?
She put some things out there that say that, I use heavily filtered photographs, etc., and that I don't look anything like I look in real life. So all I can say is, I think for anybody who, none of you know me, but once they started posting pictures of my fluffier self, my reaction was to simply put a video out there of my weight loss transformation. Like, I'm not afraid to put it out there. And you know what? I'm a woman in the dark side of 40. Okay. I think I look great, and it doesn't matter because I have a brilliant legal mind. And I know that Karen Reed is factually innocent, and I will not stop until I do something to contribute.
You got a good legal practice. You got a nice family. You got everything that she doesn't have. So, I mean,
I think
who's laughing?
What's the old saying? Like, people who live in glass houses should not throw stones.
Yeah.
I don't.
And
think
you're also not up on witness intimidation charges like she is. Miss Jessica NB, you're our last caller tonight. What do you have for us?
Hi, Nan. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Hi. How are you, Jessica?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm obviously I live in Chicagoland, so I'm freezing my butt off. But what's new? In a state of corruption, probably just as well, if not as bad, worse than Massachusetts. So I just wanted to call and say how much I appreciate you, Nan. You have just been the light and the kick in the ass that we all have needed. And I love how real you are with everything that you say, and your no filter is very refreshing. And so I just wanted to say we really appreciate you, and it's so nice to see such a strong, strong female that is clearly just not here for fame or anything like that, like the stupid trolls want to say. But you're here to advocate and educate people at the same time. So I just want to say I really appreciate you. And Mike, I will be sending you patches this week, by the way, because I got your stickers.
Thank you so much. Miss
Jessica.
Appreciate your kind words, and keep warm. I don't think I want to go to Chicago anytime soon.
Yes, we can have some real pizza, not D&E pizza.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh,
or
that might be
mediocre chicken parms. None of those for me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Jessica.
Yeah,
Stay
exactly.
warm. Have a great
Exactly.
weekend.
Well, when
Thank
I
you
come
so
up
much.
there for whenever this trial happens, I'll bring some pizza. Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you. I know. Awesome. That was great. We took some great calls. We did it through StreamYard. Usually we do it on the phone line, but my phone, I don't know. I'm maybe getting a new phone. I don't know what the issue was last time, but I just didn't want to chance it with Nan. I want to make sure that everything was perfect here today.
It was. And Mike, the fact that I could actually see people just asking questions, that was wonderful to me. But nothing is as wonderful as just having a real conversation with you. You'll
Thank you.
always have a very, very special place in my heart.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to doing maybe another one later in the week after some
Yeah.
of this stuff happens. And with you and the audience, I want to thank everyone who's been super chatting, especially the people who have been doing the donations to the Karen Reed Defense Fund, which is pinned in the chat. If you watch later, again, freekarenreed.net, you can find the link right there, or you can just do a Google search, Karen Reed Defense Fund. I want to thank everybody who's been donating, watching, supporting, subscribing, liking today. I want to thank our moderators, Stephanie, MJ, Jenna, Jen O, and Scott McGinnis. Thank you so much. We have the best mod team around on our YouTube chat. Very nice people. They post all the great links. I want to thank attorney Nan Gallagher, Laferio on Twitter. You can follow her. You are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for doing all the other shows. I know you're doing 2 more shows tonight. I hope your family understands. Do they understand?
They understand. Their feeling is mommy has found a way to find a hobby. Mommy has found a way to marry like a true crime case that she really cares about with an ability to use her opinions and get them out there. So everyone's very supportive of what I'm doing.
Awesome. I want to thank you again for being here. This is your 3rd time, isn't it? 3rd time?
It is. I'm never gonna match what Better Road has done.
Let's
And I
see.
don't.
You'll have to do like 60 appearances on here. You're
Oh
on number
my
3.
God.
You now have what Betero has though with us. You now have a playlist on our page. There's a YouTube playlist. Nan Gallagher. If it's not there, it will be there shortly. I think it is already there. So there's a now going to be a playlist. People can watch all your YouTube interviews with us on that playlist.
Are you watching Trolls? Now you'll know how to listen to me for what I really have to say about things. Thank
We
you
love
guys
our
for having
trolls.
me.
Yeah, I want to thank the trolls for watching. Please clip some videos. Please make some more posts about us. I really enjoy it, especially the next day. Like that's the best thing to wake up to is to
It
see
is.
you really got the trolls all excited and lather.
I wonder if we should sign off as Dana Carvey and Tori Spelling.
Yeah. This is Saturday Night Live. Dana Carvey signing off with our friend Tori Spelling. Thank you so much, Tori, for being here tonight.
It's been a pleasure.
Wait, you don't look like Tori. You look more like Jenny Garth.
I do look like Jenny Garth. Well, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We're Gen Xers, and no matter what we say or who we look like, we know where it's at. And Karen Reed didn't do this, and we're going to keep talking about it. So it's been a pleasure being here, Mike. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Before I let you go, I thought of Auntie Deb in the Turtle Boy interview the other night. I asked Turtle Boy about the chicken salad dip. As a Gen Xer, I want to ask you about music. One last question. What were some of your favorite, like, are you a music fan like I am?
I am a music fan, probably not to your caliber, but yes, I am.
What kind of music did you like growing up? Were you listening to jazz or hip hop or like grunge? What did you like? 80s metal?
I loved 80s metal. I love all of the freestyle songs. That's why JFK the other night, like I hit him with a dono and he started playing, I think it was Stevie B, and I loved that.
Oh yeah.
Then I teetered a little bit in the 90s when I approached college and went a little grungy. I've
Like
always
little grungy, like what kind of grunge?
like Nirvana. God, I can't think of any others
Pearl
right now.
Jam?
Yeah,
Alice in
Pearl
Chains?
Jam.
Love
Yeah.
them.
But I mean, I kind of like everything. I always though default, and please don't hate folks, but I always now default to like more dance tracks. Like I'm a runner now. I focus a lot of time on me personally, health wise. So I need something with a great beat. And if it's like too metally of a song, I get like I lose my rhythm and then I fall on my face. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I definitely and then I like Billy Joel, Elton John. You know,
Oh.
I'm across the board. I do not care for country music, but that's just me. And I
Do you
respect
like Rocky soundtracks, Eye of the Tiger or anything like
yes.
that when you're running?
Rocky is in my top 5 of my favorite movies, with my top 3 being Jaws, Halloween, the original, and all the Rockies. Maybe some could, you know, not so good, but the Rocky soundtracks are all in my, all in my phone when I'm running. They also helped fuel me when I was studying for the bar exams that I've taken. So,
I love
yes.
it. That reminds me of wrestling days. We have the jukebox thing, whatever you call it, the little stereo system, and we'd be playing all those songs. Living in America.
It's
James
great.
Brown. Yeah, that Rocky soundtrack. And
I
Vision
love
Quest is
that
another
and,
one.
like, Hearts on Fire,
Yes. Oh my God.
There's No Easy Way Out. Those were 2
Yes. John
songs
Tepper. Yeah, yeah.
those were
Awesome.
2 songs I hammered into my head when I was studying for bar exams. So, like, definitely resonate with me. But I guess I
too.
don't have one particular
I'm
one.
the same way. I like so much music. It's
And
amazing.
I love oldies. I love oldies. I love the 50s and 60s music. Some of the 70s, like, I like some disco tracks, you know. I'm kinda cheesy when it comes to music. I'm
Me
easily
too. I'm a cheese ball, definitely. That's what my girlfriend calls me about music. You
yeah,
like all the cheese ball stuff. So,
that's
yep.
good. It makes the heart flutter a little bit. You gotta love what you love because it inspires you, and if you don't every day, your whole life is musical soundtrack. If you resonate with music, then it fuels you. I believe that. That's how I write my briefs. It's very musical. It's how I argue them. I really gravitate towards people who have a love of music, no matter what kind of music it is.
Me too. Thank you so much for sharing that as
You.
well. And thank you for spending your time with us on a Sunday. I'm very honored that you came back on our show, Nan Gallagher, attorney Nan Gallagher. Check her out on Twitter, LaFario. Thank you so much for being here tonight, Nan.
Thanks, Mike. It was great to see you. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see your show later.
Thank you so much. We're the Young Jerks. My name is Mike Crawford, as you know, and we'll be back at 6 p.m. Go on YouTube and make sure you hit the notification button for 6 p.m. tonight. We're going to be back here with Video Jesus. I can't wait. We're going to be talking about the Sally Port video. We may play some old court about the Sally Port video. Come back here, please, at 6 p.m. tonight. Tomorrow night, I believe it's at 6. It's either 6 or 6:30. We're going to have a state senator here as well. Going to be talking about Enrique. Tuesday night, going to be doing the Canton Select Board, and I think Boston Mike's going to be joining me for some of that. Well, we'll definitely do a live show. Wednesday, it looks like I have attorney Carl Steinbeck back on the show, and all the court hearings this week, and much more to be announced. So we have a lot planned this week. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. Thank you to all the super chats tonight. I hope I got them all up there. I really appreciate you all supporting us. I do have to run right now. Thank you, Kim W., for last minute super chat. She says, if the piece of the tail light that the cert board found had been there since 12:30 a.m., would they not also be encapsulated in snow and ice like the tail light that was on Karen Reed's car? Good question. Good question. There's a lot of questions we all have. And they really should have found that tail light then. So obvious. I want to thank all the people who made donations tonight. Today, I keep saying tonight. It's almost tonight. To the Karen Reed Defense Fund. I got them upside down. We're giving away these stickers tonight. Let's see the 3Ms. For people that donate to Karen Reed Defense Fund, at least $5. If you do, you send an email over to mjcboston1@yahoo.com with your mailing address and proof that you made the donation, a screen capture of the picture, or just reference your donation. It's a first come, first serve basis. As soon as we're done with all the stickers, that's all we have. There's a limited print. We're not selling these. First come, first serve basis. Thank you to everybody who made donations to the Karen Reed Defense Fund. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you again, hopefully at 6 p.m. with Abby. Podcast, video. I always say that. Video Jesus at 6 p.m. tonight. Thank you to our mods. Thank you to Attorney Nan Gallagher. And thank you, everybody who's been watching and supporting us. We'll see you tonight at 6.